Number 7 in the 42 ideas on leadership comes to us from Bruce Tuckman, and it's about his 5 stages of team development. He initially developed this back in 1965 with 4 stages and then added the 5th stage in the mid-1970s. These 5 stages of team development are forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. Now, these together mean that a team typically moves from forming through the different stages until it's finished its task and it adjourns. However, it is possible to have looping and jumping stages. This means that maybe you go from forming, storming, norming, and then back to storming again, and up to performing, and then back to storming again. It's also possible that you move directly from forming to norming, or from forming all the way up to performing. This is possible. It's possible to have looping and jumping of stages. However, the normal typical structure and system is that you go from forming to storming to norming to performing and adjourning. Let's look at this in a little bit more detail. The forming stage means that at this point people are dependent on the leader. People are coming together, and the roles and responsibilities are not yet clear, and people are learning about each other. They're on their best behavior, they're putting their best self forward, and they're focused on their own goals rather than on the goals of the team itself. At this point, there are lots of discussions around what the task is, what the objectives of the team are, and how the team is going to operate. This sometimes then leads to conflict, where there are challenges to the leader and other members, but at this point also we have greater clarity about what the team is supposed to be doing. Sometimes cliques and factions are created at this point and the group splinters. However, at this point, it's also when people decide what should be done and how it should be done. And this inevitably can create lots of questions, which sometimes may lead to conflict. The conflict is very often emotional, and it can be upsetting for some members. The result of this is that if they don't bypass stage 2 or at least go through it, some teams can actually break up. However, as I've mentioned, some teams don't have any conflict, they work quite well together, and they go straight through to the norming stage. At this point, if there is conflict, it's necessary to be tolerant, sometimes compromise, and by focusing on the goals of the team, it's possible to drive on through to the 3rd stage. At the 3rd stage, this is norming. This is when rules are established for the group. There's clarification around roles, there's clarification around the objectives. Agreement and consensus are formed, and the big decisions are taken by the group, not by the leader. At this point, there's greater commitment, there's greater unity, and all of this is because the leader has facilitated the team and has created and helped to create a common goal for the team. And as we've looked at in another one of the ideas in the discipline of teams, all members take responsibilities. There's mutual accountability here on the team. So the role here for the leader is facilitating and enabling. The next stage is performing. At this point, if they've moved on from norming, the team is performing well. They're strategically aware, there's great synergy, all bound around a shared vision for the team. As a result of the shared vision, people have a greater degree of autonomy because they know what they have to do to reach that vision. Team members look after each other and support each other. And it is true that sometimes there's conflict at this point, but that's okay, because what it does is it permits the group to move even faster towards their goal as people discover the objections of others and answer those objections, or maybe learn from those objections. The team is highly motivated, and because of all of these areas, because of a shared vision, synergy, autonomy of the team members, and channeled conflict, the leader is able to delegate tasks, and instead of pushing or even trying to make sure that the team works or provide ground rules, the leader instead is able to provide personal support to individuals on the team. And finally, when the task is done, well, we've got adjourning. That's the breakup of the group. The purpose has been fulfilled. At this point, especially if the group has been working very well together and developed bonds, it's necessary to have recognition and be sensitive towards the vulnerabilities of the people on the team, because some people may find this very upsetting. At this point, the leader moves on, and as a result of all of these, sometimes this stage is also called mourning. So what we have then is we have the 5 stages of the team. We start with forming, we move to storming, then on to norming, performing, and then adjourning. And finally, we start again. So this is number 7 in the 42 Ideas on Leadership, Bruce Tuckman's 5 stages of team development.